Psychology Ad Assignment by Ashley Nicholas. The article I chose from the textbook is about social psychology. The experiment gives an example about how informational influence is constantly occurring. People's behavior gives information to others that they just assume is true, and it causes them to join in that behavior. The title of the article is Note on the Drawing Power of Crowds of Different Size. The authors are Stanley Milgram, Leonard Bickman, and Lawrence Berkowitz. The reference is from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, 1969, Volume 13, pages 79 through 82. Introduction. This experiment deals with the informational influence of crowds on the general population. Previous research had been done by Coleman and James, and they created a model that said the growth of a group or crowd is independent of the size of the group. The authors of this article felt that a contagion assumption, or an assumption that people are more likely to join a larger group than a smaller one, should be added to the previous model. Hypothesis. The hypothesis is that when someone observes other people completing the same actions, such as a group all staring up at a window, that person is more likely to join in because they believe the group has information they don't know about. They are also more likely to join in if it is a larger group rather than a smaller group. Methods. This experiment took place in New York City along a 50-foot sidewalk across the street from an office building. The authors of this article were observing behavior of pedestrians that passed this part of the sidewalk in 31-minute trials. A flash from the 6th-floor window of the office building signaled each trial. For each trial, a stimulus crowd with varying amounts of people, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, or 15 people, 5 trials for each amount of people, would enter the observation area, stop, and look up at the 6th-floor window of the office building for 60 seconds. After the time passed, the stimulus group would disperse. Pairs of judges counted the number of pedestrians that walked into the area, the number that looked up, and the number that stopped. Results. During this experiment, they found that when the stimulus crowd was only one person, only 4% of the pedestrians stopped. When the stimulus crowd was composed of 15 people, 40% of the passengers stopped. The number of pedestrians that stopped increased as the size of the stimulus crowd increased. Similarly, when the stimulus crowd was only one person, only 42% of pedestrians looked up at the window of the office building. However, when the stimulus crowd was 15 people, 86% of the pedestrians looked up at the window. They also found that the percentage of people that looked up was always higher than the percentage of people that stopped next to the stimulus group. One thing that wasn't tested was a control group. In order to do this, they would have had to remove someone from the group each time a pedestrian joined the group. Also, the maximum size of the group may have been larger if the stimulus crowd was looking at something interesting rather than a person in a window. Conclusion. The results were consistent with their hypothesis that the larger the stimulus crowd, the more people will react and join in the behavior of the stimulus crowd. This experiment effectively shows the informational influence on the pedestrians. The people who passed by observed the crowd staring up towards the window and automatically believed that something was worth looking at up there, so they joined in on the behavior. Informational influence occurs in many different types of situations in our lives. The advertisement I chose is for the Kindle Fire, which is a tablet where you can watch movies, read books, or many other things. There is a picture of 2 black Kindles, one vertical and one horizontal, displaying movies you can watch on it. On the top, the ad says Kindle Fire, and right underneath it says the #1 best-selling product on Amazon. In the bottom right corner, it says $199, and underneath there is a Shop Now button. Analysis. This advertisement for the Kindle Fire uses informational influence to get more customers to buy it. By saying that it is the #1 best-selling product on Amazon, it leads the customer to believe that everyone else is buying them. Many people get the impression that the Kindle Fire is worth the cost because it is very popular. This leads to even more sales of the Kindle Fire. How could the ad be changed to test my analysis? I made an alternative advertisement for the Kindle Fire that offers no information about the sales of the product. It only says the name of the product and the price with the Shop Now button. If informational influence is really effective, then the original advertisement that says it is a bestseller should sell more Kindle Fires than this version of the advertisement.